Hey guys, it's Erica Galinas with the Mike McCady Group at Century 21 Affiliated here for our weekly market update. This week we are doing Dyer, and I have a bunch of numbers basically throughout the summer season. As I've said in my other videos, all the unpleasantness, the market was strange, still busy though, shockingly through the spring, but I don't necessarily have month-to-month numbers because I'm not sure how accurate they would be with everything that had gone on. So we'll catch up through the summer, and then as we go forward, we'll have our month-to-month numbers. So Dyer, Indiana, encompasses all kinds of different housing. There's, the Northgate subdivision and the north part of Dyer, goes through all that stuff that was built in the 90s and the 2000s, south along with Hart Street, basically, and then almost to the Cedar Lake state line. A lot of that's the newer construction area, but that's all Dyer. It goes far, far south, west of St. John, south, there's that little strip. So Dyer actually encompasses quite a wide area and a lot of different housing stock. Not so much, the old Victorians and stuff like that, but the building in Dyer really started in the 60s and 70s and then on through, literally last week. So through the summer, like I said, we have these numbers here. In June, so everything sold in the month of June, they sold 28 houses for an average sales price of $275,171. Average days on market was 39 days. Sales price to list price, so how much you listed for versus what you actually get for it, they're getting about 98.6% of their list price in the month of June. That seems about right to me. I mean, in terms of the traffic we have coming in from Illinois and the time of year, again, it's maybe a touch slow. It might have been a little faster, without everything that had been going on with the unpleasantness, but those numbers seem pretty solid. So then in July, there were 43 houses sold, so just a few more houses sold. Average sales price, $319,508. The average days on market was 43 days. So a little bit, 4 days longer on the market. List to sales price went from 98.6 to 99.1. So, it took a couple extra days, but the average sales price went up $40,000. And the days on market went up 4 days. So not a big deal for such a big increase. So then in August, so this is first of the month through the end of the month. And again, this encompasses condos, townhouses, all the way to single family giant houses. The average sales price in August is $358,001. We sold a total of 36 houses in the month of August. Average days on market, 48 days, an extra 5 days than it was before, but again, not the end of the world. List to sales price, 97.3%. So that list to sales price went down by almost 2%. And there's such a huge increase in the average sales price. I wanted to look into these numbers a little bit because that seemed, the market's really hot. I don't know if it's $50,000 worth of hot over a month period. So I did find in the month of August, there was a $1 million home that was sold in Briar Ridge. So basically the sales prices, in a normal month without the $1 million home run from about 180 to, the high 400s. Let's put it like that way. There was another one in there. It was like 600,000 again, because we have that Briar Ridge spot. So what I did is I took out that $1 million home. We'd all love to have one. Most of aren't selling one. So let's just leave that out. That gave us an average sales price in the month of August of $372, which then seems right in line with that July number. So 319,000 average in July to a 330 average in August seems about right to me where we are. It's about $11,000 increase. Huge increase. That's a, month to month, and not every month is going to be $11,000, obviously, but it tracks in terms of the way our market has been in that 41 corridor, as I call it: Munster, Dyer, St. John, Cedar Lake, Lowell. These Illinois buyers want to come in here, live in Indiana, still be, half an hour away from Orland Park or wherever it is that they work or they have family and stuff like that. So that 330,000 average without that $1 million home actually tracks with what we've been seeing in Dyer. Kind of since last summer. It's been up a little bit and down a little bit, and then the unpleasantness, and it's all being a little, I don't want to say it's erratic because it's not, but it's a steady climb up. So this means Dyer's doing actually very well in terms of increase in sales prices, in terms of days on market being, about average, a month, just over a month, something like that. You usually see that when prices are just about right. So we have a hot market. If you underprice your house, you're going to sell it in 5 hours. Literally, I've seen houses go off the market that quickly. So when you have kind of a 30-day, maybe a little bit longer market period, that means that the prices are tracking, because sellers are going to see these wonderful numbers, list it on the high end, and then the buyers are going to come in and there's not a lot of inventory. So they're willing to get close to that high end, but not so much that they're selling in 5 or 6 hours. So those days on market seem about right. List to sales price seems about average with everything else that we have in Lake and most of Porter County. You know, that 97 to 99 list to sales price range is about right for the market, and it's a really good sign. Again, it dipped a little bit in August, but that $1 million home was actually listed for 1.1 million or something like that. So again, it kind of skewed the average. So we are about at that 99% list to sales price. In terms of what's going on right now today, we have 61 active and pending listings, meaning we have 61 houses, again, condos, you know, all kinds of houses for sale in Dyer, or pending ones, meaning that they're on the market, they haven't closed yet. So they have a contract with a buyer, but they're going through inspections or they're waiting for their mortgage to go through or whatever it is that they're looking for. We have 61 of those right now in Dyer, which is kind of impressive. I mean, that's, again, there's a huge housing stock in Dyer, all different kinds of houses, but the fact that they're coming back on the market, that's going to kind of even everything out for both buyers and sellers. I predominantly work with sellers to get them the best list price, but you don't necessarily want prices to go too high, because then my sellers don't have any buyers. And I have a number of buyers that are having a hard time in the various areas finding things. Either, you know, they're going off the market too quickly, or the prices are such that it doesn't necessarily seem like the best bargain. So it's actually good that that's kind of leveling off in our area. Again, you know, I don't see anything going down, so we're good there. Of those active and pending listings, there's only 2 new construction. And we have talked about this before. Dyer doesn't have any land left, so there's going to be very few places for them to build absolutely new construction. So the numbers are going to be a little different. There's a ton of new construction going on in St. John, ton of new construction going on in Cedar Lake. Schererville's kind of 50-50. Schererville is also a big area with a lot of different housing stocks. So those numbers, we'll just say they're average. And then Dyer is more like Munster, where, you know, there's not enough space to build things. There's not a lot of new construction. And actually that's not bad, because existing housing is usually a more steady, a more level housing supply in terms of price, in terms of availability, than new construction. Because, you know, in St. John, somebody buys 10 more acres, whoops, all of a sudden we're going to put up 300 new townhomes. And it makes everything a little crazy. So that's actually really good. The average list price for these houses in Dyer, $384,123, which is high based on the averages that we have. Again, what we have is a lot of sellers wanting to take advantage of these really super high prices. It may work awesome for them. I hope it certainly does, but we want to make sure we're not on the cusp of overpricing and flooding the market with sellers that want this extra 20% equity or whatever it is. We want to make sure we kind of stay. So we're going to keep an eye on this list price over the next couple months and see if they're selling, what percentage of that list price they're selling for, and what those averages are. So we can kind of keep an eye on it. Again, we don't want to flood the market. Buyers would love it, because then we're in a buyer's market. I don't know if that's something that the sellers want. Probably not. So we'll keep an eye. Average days on market for those active and pending listings are 43 days. So that's almost directly in line with the days on market. No real change there. Future for Dyer, like I said, the thing to keep an eye on is we want to make sure that these averages don't spike too high, because sellers are going to love it, buyers are going to stay away. They are going to look at, you know, maybe new construction. You know, if I have $400,000 to spend, I can buy this house from 10 or 15 years ago in Dyer, or I could buy this brand new house in St. John, or I can, you know, buy this older home and spend the extra money fixing it up. So as those prices increase, if they're not keeping pace with what buyers are willing to spend, you're going to see a little bit of slowdown. So we're going to keep an eye on Dyer and see, you know, where they go in the future. I don't think we're in a bust, you know, on the cusp of some kind of bust market, and then all these sellers are going to be, I don't think that's really going to happen. We have too many good buyers wanting to move here from Illinois, between their tax rates, between the unpleasantness that's going on over there. You know, there's a lot of people who still want to relocate. So I think we're going to be stable. I don't know if we're going to shoot up any further than we have. But again, I could be totally wrong. I mean, this year has been strange enough that God only knows what's actually going to happen. So, but we will keep an eye on it as we go through the months. If you have any questions, if you are a buyer or seller, I work Lake Porter, Jasper, Newton counties, obviously familiar with Dyer. Happy to help you. No strings attached. I'm super low pressure. If you're just curious about your house, thinking maybe I want to move, maybe traffic's getting worse, maybe I can cash out 40 grand or whatever it is, please let me know. Give me a call, 219-765-2062. You can also text me at that number if it works better for you. Email me anytime at hsbyerica@gmail.com. That stands for Home Sales by Erica. Comment on this video, send me a Facebook message. I check everything every day, so I will know right away and certainly be happy to help. So I hope you guys have a good week, and I will see you later on. Thanks. Bye-bye.